Flashcards. An important part to passing any exam. In my videos, I mention them heavily. I talk about them in my notes. So I will have at the end of each section a suggested or minimum suggested flashcards. I have inside my app a dedicated flashcard generator, a bit that says what titles to make. How do you now use these flashcards that you've created to pass? It's someone's flashcards that came to me on the Isle of Wight for an immersive course. This is how many this crew member managed to produce. And these are great. These are fantastic. These from his own pre-study, my pre-study notes, his written courses, GMDSS, Nav and Radar, Business and Law, wherever you've got them from, that's fantastic. What we need though, that many, I think, makes me feel sick. That is fantastic, but not going to make you pass. I think you need, we'll say, that many. These are blank. You need to have words on them, but you need about that many. It's not quantity or even quality. It's making sure that you have the questions that come up in the exam. That's number one. Number two, when I look at a flashcard, they always seem to me that they have an awful lot of words on them. Far too many words. When you are initially creating them, so if you're watching this video before you've watched my subscription or before you've got to the end of the syllabus, carry on. Create hundreds of flashcards. Knock yourself out. Make yourself feel much better that you have evidence of all your hard work. That's good. That's fine. However, if you're now somewhere between, we'll say, a week and 10 days before your exam, you need to consolidate those flashcards into this. Okay, so that's what this video is for. This video is to help people who have completed everything. They have a good understanding. You have learnt your rules. You've learnt your lights. You've learnt your buoyage. You've done LSA. You've done fire. You've done man overboard. You have covered all the key critical bits that come up. Rule 19, radar plotting. You by now should have looked at the past papers. You have done a risk assessment based on likelihood and severity. You've looked at the syllabus. You have looked at common sense questions and answers. You should have a good feel for the likely questions. So let's have a look at one that I discussed in the introduction video. M notices. You would have originally have written, we'll say, MSN, on one side of the flashcard. So on one side, you probably wrote MSN, And originally, you would have copied and pasted what was inside the notes, and MSNs contain the technical details of regulations called statutory instruments, SIs. This is mandatory information that must be complied with under UK legislation. And you will have dutifully copied that out. Fantastic. However, I want you to work out what your working capacity of your memory is. We have different types of memory. We have long-term memory and we have short-term memory. Your working memory is, according to psychology, 7 plus or minus 2. I don't know how old you are, but we'll say that you're mid-20s, so 25. By now, you should have worked out at what point you need to write down a list. So if I said to you, you're to go to the shops and buy bread, milk, and orange juice. Would you be able to remember that? I would think so. So if I sent you to the shops and said buy bread, milk, orange juice, apples, tomatoes, a newspaper, toilet roll, bacon, sausages, pizza base, salmon, fillet steak, goat's cheese, and some nice camembert, and don't forget the red wine and the white wine. At some point there, you would be reaching for your phone to write a list, or a piece of paper, or something to allow you to remember that amount of data. At how many do you need to write it down? So for me, it's 5. 5 is my magic number. I therefore would never create any flashcard, any information that has more than 5 points. Yeah? If I had to, I could probably make it up to 7, no more. 5, all of my teaching is about 5. Because I can remember 5 points, never more. You need to look at your huge flashcards with all these words and everything on it that you've hopefully understood, have a good understanding of, but have not necessarily learnt it yet. You need to look at that list, and we'll do it with this statement here, and I want you to work out which words are key to you. So MSN, I would always forget merchant. So on the back of my flashcard, I'm going to write down merchant. That's the word I'd forget. I'm not going to use the word statutory instruments because I don't really know what that means. Mandatory. I like that. So mandatory. How do you spell mandatory? Mandatory information. Complied. UK legislation. So when someone asks me about MSNs, my flashcard answer is merchant, mandatory information, complied with, UK legislation. And I have those 5 key words, or in this case 6, but 6 or 5 key words that allow me to start my answer. Okay, how much quicker would that be to make your flashcard? I think that'd be pretty quick actually. So I want you to look at all of your flashcards that you've created. I want you to identify the ones that are going to come up in your exam. So fire, LSA, man overboard, GMDSS, passage planning, and I want you to try and go through them so that you can reduce each flashcard down to 5 or 6 words. If you've got amazing memory and you can do 9, fantastic. If you have a terrible memory, you can only do 5. Work with what you have. To give another example, we have discussed radar equipment. That should be on one of your critical lists. It's a key part of you keeping a good lookout, working out if there's a risk of collision and for navigation purposes. So good radar practice, or it can be called limitations of radar. What have you got on your flashcard? Yeah, how much information have you got on the back? I would imagine that you would have copied and pasted page 183. And you probably have that bit in yellow all copied and pasted. That's an awful lot of words. Now, you should know what the performance monitor does. You should know why it's dangerous to have a misaligned heading marker and how you're going to check it. You should know about small vessels ice. You should know about video processing techniques, and echoes may be obscured. You need to be able to explain them all. But if he says to you, or the examiner says to you, what are the limitations of radar? He probably doesn't want a long-winded answer. He just wants to know that The performance monitor needs to be checked. Heading marker needs to be aligned. Small vessels or ice may cause, may not be detected by radar. Video processing techniques should be used with care. Echoes may be obscured by sea and rain clutter, and masts or other structural features that could cause blind and shadow sectors. I don't need you to go into each and every one initially. You should be able to. But what happens is somebody starts talking about this and they miss out, we'll say, that bit, because they've used up all of their brain power remembering the first line or 2 lines or 3 lines of the flashcard. So here I would have on one side limitations of radar, and on the other side I would have the word performance. You just need something that will kick you into remembering what it is you're meant to be saying. So performance, if I could spell. Heading, ice, video, echoes, and masts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 6. How much easier would it be to learn and regurgitate what are the limitations of radar? Performance, heading, ice, video, echoes, masts. That is going to be a lot quicker for you to learn than trying to regurgitate that entire list. If he then says, explain to me what the performance monitor is, or what the echoes may be obscured by, then you're going to have to give them the full list. But you're going to make sure that you have reduced these huge flashcards down to very simple flashcards. 5 or 6 words, 7 or 8, 9 is max, into your flashcards. Okay. What about one of the bigger subjects? ISPS. So you should have a couple of suggested ones. Main aim of the ISPS code, what the CSR form is, what the company security officer is, who the SSO is, the SSP, ship security alert system, what are the security levels, declarations of security, and how you prepare for a survey. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 flashcards you should have as a minimum for ISPS. And each of those flashcards will, probably look a bit like the company security officer, the ship security officer. So lots and lots of words. He's not likely to say, tell me about the company security officer or the ship security officer. He's probably going to say, tell me about ISPS. So your flashcard should probably have, if it was mine, ISPS, vessels over 500 gross tons. Flashcard 1. Then I would have on a separate flashcard, so one side, ISPS. It's always a good idea to know what it stands for. So you probably say ISPS, sir, is the International Ships Port Security Code, and it contains information such as CSR. That's my first one. I want to mention that to him. CSO, SSO, SSP, SSAS, levels, and DOS. That's it. That is my flashcard for ISPS. So tell me about ISPS candidate. Right, so it has a continuous synopsis record. It has a company security officer, a ship security officer, ship security plan, a SSAS alert system. It has different levels of security, MARSIC levels, and it has a declaration of security that must be filled out between the port and the ship. So, how easy and how quick was it to create that flashcard? So, your flashcards pretty much cover the topics, the key words that you want to remember to mention in an online or an oral exam. Yeah? I want you to work your way through all of your flashcards that you've created. And I want you to convert that into much shorter, simpler 6 words on a piece of paper or on a flashcard. Then you are going to learn them. So you're going to get your pile of flashcards and you're going to walk around your bedroom. And you're going to pick them up and you're going to go MSN, merchant, shipping notice, mandatory information complied with UK legislation. You're going to turn it over. And whatever key words it is that you said that you were going to remember, that is all you are to say. And if you got it right, you put it in the good pile. ISPS, continuous CSR, SS, ship's company officer, or ship's security officer, company security officer, SSAS, levels, and I missed one. DOS, Declaration of Security, but I missed one. So I get annoyed with myself, look at it and go, oh, silly boy, and I put it on a bad pile. At the end, I will have 2 piles on my desk or on my bed. I pick up the bad pile, and I go ISPS, Continuous Synopsis Record, Company Security Officer, Ship Security Plan, SSAS, Levels, DOS. And I say it maybe 10 times, over and over again. Then I put it down, I go on to the next card. When I finish my group of cards, I go back through ISPS, Company Security Officer, Ship Security Officer, Continuous Synopsis Record, Levels, SSAS, Declaration of Security, DOS. Yes. And when I've finished and I only have a good pile, that's a good start, isn't it? That means you're learning the key words that you're going to use to kickstart you in the exam to explain yourself. Okay? You are, hopefully by now, we have a study buddy for you. So if you come to my webinars, you've been subscribing, you've been doing everything, I have a study buddy. It's a concept that you're going to find someone else who has an exam of the same type at about the same time, and you're going to work together in pairs or in groups. And you will all have the same flashcards, the big pile. You're hopefully after this video all going to have the criticals, and I explained to you you're going to have a level 1, so really important, like mucho critical. Number 2, very, as secondary important, and then the 3rd level is meh. So we've got critical, important, and meh. I want you to learn all your criticals first, and you're going to practice with your flashcards, with your partner, your study buddy. You're going to say ISPS, and they're going to say just the back of their flashcard. They're going to say MSN, and you're going to just say your flashcard. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's say in an hour's session, you're going to do half an hour of just ISPS, ISM, COSWAP, MARPOL, and you're just looking for the flashcard basic 5 words. Not complicated, just what the key words would be that that person wants to get across for that subject. They've decided. The other half hour, or the other bit of time that you've got, is going to be spent on sample past style exam questions. On the screen, that is a example style past exam. You're going to be working with your study buddy, and you've done your flashcards. Yeah, so you've got your key words for each subject that you want to get across. Now it's time to practice how you're going to say it in the exam, your actual delivery of the answer. So one of you for 20 minutes is going to be examiner, and the other is going to be the student or the crew member. So you are on a voyage from Gibraltar to Miami. What can you use to find your position in coastal and the ocean stages of the voyage? The person asking must try and copy or just say exactly what's written. The person who's answering is going to use that flashcard knowledge that's up there. So you've made a flashcard about position fixing. So you're going to say 3-point fix, GPS, running fix, horizontal section angles, vertical section angles, and so on and so forth. But you're going to word it as you would to answer this question in the real exam. The examiner, once he's happy, GPS, how does it work? What are the interferences, errors you can experience? So half of your study session is flashcards. Short, simple. Tell me everything you can about ISPS. Tell me everything you can about the limitations of radar. Tell me what an MSN is. And it's simple, easy answers. The other half is more long-winded exam-style questions with exam answers using these bits of information. So for instance, there's going to be an ISPS one there, but if there was an ISPS, it would probably, right, tell me about ISPS. Well, sir, we have a continuous synopsis record. We have a company security officer, ship security officer, an SSAS, a declaration of security and levels. Okay, tell me what the continuous synopsis record is. It's a logbook, sir, that stays with the vessel for its lifetime. It doesn't change. It records all of the historic events that have happened to the vessel. What about the security levels? Well, sir, we have 3 security levels. They're set by the flag, and they are MARSIC level 1, which is normal, level 2, which is heightened, and level 3, which is exceptional. I want you to have simple flashcards that you can say out loud really quickly, really simply, and then I want you to start practicing on the fly using those flashcards to answer the exam style questions. Hopefully that will help you with your flashcards and give you guidance on how you are going to work with your study buddy. Any questions? Send me an email, fred@fredsoralprep.com. Hope to see you at a webinar.